Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to some more Let's Play Aeon of Sands. In the last episode, we had acquired the desert suit and rebreather mask in the lowest section of the underroots beneath the city of Pentella. Retrieving those items, we then met the guard at the gate and found another assistant who provided us with the letter of credit promised us by Cosmio Smith, there's his name, from the Brown Leaves. And it didn't contain nearly as much money as we had hoped to outfit us adequately, even, for the journey into the desert. We left after acquiring a water faucet from a third-hand use, basically pawn shop / flea market, and some okay slippers from a merchant. That was it. That was what our letter of credit allowed us to afford. There are significantly better things you can buy than those, but I wanted those things, and that's what we got. The guard then escorted us to the gate, and we left out into the desert. Upon traversing it, Citrani noticed that to the north is the never-ending desert, and nothing ever has survived when it went in that direction, and as far as anyone knows, nothing ever arrived out of that direction either. Thus, we can safely assume that to the north is death, and we do not go that way, and the caravan did not either. Remember that we are looking for this missing caravan, or clues as to where it could potentially have gone. In any case, since it didn't go there, we went south next, traveling to an oasis. After first discovering a empty, looked like town out in the desert of some sort that the sands of time had scattered without any knowledge about what had happened here. Rather a gloomy realization that Citrani made. When we arrived at this oasis, we found, well, water here. We also found that water guarded by a rather foul-mouthed woman who is a nomad, and Citrani is a city dweller. Not a lot of respect for the nomads, for those people who live a cushy, protected life, I suppose. Although, it doesn't sound like that's actually the case for the people living in Pentella. Not all of them, at least. But the clerk has spent quite a bit of time napping and lazing about. So perhaps he has that criticism to be accurately leveled at him. Desperate for the water, Citrani tried to convince Kalka, was her name, that maybe we could trade something we have for it. Kalka responded that she had everything she could ever want. Kalka said, well, maybe your friends would like it. Kalka said she has no friends. We said, well, maybe we could be your friend. Kalka was like, yeah? Do you mean it? And we're like, yeah, you, me, the water, we can all be best friends together. Said Citrani, desperate to get to the water. And Kalka decided that, okay, I'll be your friend. In which case, we need to have the friendship ritual. And the friendship ritual is effectively, don't die. To her, she attacks you with everything she's got. Flames and a rather nasty glass-bladed halberd. We also had a few sandcrawlers that joined into the battle. Only against me, though. Only against me, not against Kalka. And the area was littered with, what is it called now? I'm not sure. Glass briars or something. Areas that could damage us when we stepped on them. We, not so nimbly, dodged around the glass shards. We defeated the sandcrawlers and beat up Kalka, while avoiding most of the damage she threw at us. She said that we're best friends now, and has agreed to accompany us. Bring our party up to 2. We'll take a better look at her and what she's capable of when we're able to get to a area where we are exploring again. Now, before I go too much further, you guys have probably realized by now, especially because I've said it several times, that I am making a beeline for 2 companions. I do not know if this is going to alter the game's timeline in any way. Again, I suspect there is some sort of time mechanic to the game. I don't know if that's true, but I think there is. And I know immediately going to grab 2 characters may be a bit metagamey as well. I am not playing this game as if I'm playing it for the first time. If that was to happen, I would get a different character and have lost that character through an event. And then end up at the end of the game with only myself, barely surviving without a whole lot of supplies, which is what happened to me the first time I had done this game. Man, oh, that was brutal. I loved it. I didn't beat the game then either, because I was like, I missed people. I wanna go back and try this again. In any case, we will be making a beeline for a 3rd companion at this moment. Now, this is a little bit unrealistic, because I know where this companion is, and I know what I need to do to get this companion. But I'm sure, or I hope at least, you guys will forgive me for playing the game this way. Unlike many of the games of this sort that I play where I try my best to be more atmospheric and make things occur in a more realistic way, that is not going to be the case here. I mean, we are still wandering, so there is that, but I'm wandering in a very specific direction, because I know there's a person here, and I know what to say to this person to have them join us. So, with that said, let's pick up where we left off. Alright, so, with Calca now with us, what does Sentry know? Well, not much still. We still have to find this caravan. It wasn't at this oasis, so we found no proof of it here. Let's head off to the west some more. The light lingers perfectly still for an instant. A tiny fiery dot on the flat horizon. Its flames burning indistinct shapes in the farthest distance. Shiny white, hot giants on fantastic mounts, clashing with whirling red beasts with many legs, without a sound. Sounds like on the horizon, Satrani is witnessing 2 different groups fighting each other. One sounds like it's some sort of people on power armor riding like hover bikes or something, and the other sounds like it's fighting some sort of monster or creature. As long as they don't come near me. They fade and ebb in a deforming, effacing dance. Then, the purple shroud above finally drops down to suffocate the last sun. The shadow rushes in from all sides into the plains, and only the dark remains. Satrani swallows his disquiet in silence. Nights, you never liked them much. They come whenever they please, and they make you feel afraid of the big nothing outside your glass dome. Well, there's the cooler air, that's definitely a plus, but when you live in the shade of a giant tree, you don't suffer the brunt of the suns. And I like to sleep during the day, too! Indeed, concealed by the tree's foliage, if you're lucky to be a clerk, you end up taking many pleasant naps anyway. In fact, for whatever reason, nobody seems to pay too much attention to you, except for when you walk too close to the market stalls. That's when the dealers seem to eye you with concern. I explained that! It was an honest mistake! Out here, however, a big nothing would be a comforting notion, instead of the possibility of horrible beasts attacking you unseen. Luckily, nights are brief, too. Whichever sun sets, the other one will rise soon. Wait for the sun. Waiting. Waiting. Feels a bit like pitch dark at the moment. Waiting. Waiting. You can, by the way, just click on screen to make the text instantly show up. So I'm doing this for thematic purposes. I like the way that the dev did this, so. Waiting for you to... Oh, sorry. Wrong door. The second sun, the harsh master, finally unsheathed its cruel blades, piercing the mist hurting on the sands. On second thought, the idea of being silently assaulted in the night and unexpectedly being killed, without realizing what was happening and what did the deed, looks not that frightening anymore to Centrani, as a nascent light crudely unveils, with great detail of gore and dried blood, a large sandcrawler's mouth, gaping open and dripping bile so very close to his face. Jump! Jump away from there! Fight! That is a sandcrawler giant, and we do not particularly want to be hit by it. Centrani, let's put on some of this. So, just like when we fought Calca, I would like to explore this place a bit. So we're going to try to eliminate the little ones first. And we'll take a look at Calca when I have a moment to breathe. Okay, we have a moment to breathe. Here's Calca. So, here are her stats. She has no training at all in using ranged weaponry. She is a beginner at concentration, and a beginner at melee combat. Sovereign's also beginner. She's more suited for spells, based on what I see here. She's a warlock, as well as her class, and currently not attuned to any type of mana. If we can find some mana, we can attune her to it. I don't really want to give her the scum still. She was using a fire magic against us in the battle, and during that battle I know she can use electricity or air magic as well. So I would like her to use some of those in this, as long as she's part of our group as well. You'll also note that Centrani is still hurt from the fight that we had with Calca. I mentioned earlier that that's the way this works, so we were going to wait around here for just a tiny bit. Well, actually, while I'm waiting, there is one thing we can look at really quick. These bring back up the tutorial messages. I would like to remember what the character stats are like if I can. Can I see? Strength, agility, and intelligence. Strength affects the character's speed in advancing their sovereign trait from melee combat, and how quick their hit points regenerate. Oh, holy crap! That's super useful to know. I should have actually probably have read the tutorial. Alright, so there you go, everyone. Strength improves the speed. I'm not going to read it again. Agility affects the character's speed in advancing their accuracy trait from ranged combat, and how quick their stamina regenerates. Intelligence affects the character's speed in advancing their concentration trait, and affects how quick their mana saturation decreases. Okay, so these will affect the cooldowns, or speed up the values for hit points, stamina, and mana. The listed number, okay, we can skip that. I can skip that too. This is what I want. This is the list of traits that govern the character's powers in melee, magic, and ranged combat. The higher the percentage, the better. The accuracy is increased by the range attack successful hits, and influence the chance to hit with ranged weapons. Concentration is increased by elemental magic use, and influence the duration of elemental spells and effects. Focus is increased by Orin magic use. We're not going to get an Orin with us. That's another character you can pick up. He uses magic in a very kind of different way than the other characters do. He doesn't need a amplifier to actually channel magic with. He himself is the source of the magic, but he works a bit He's a bit tricky to use. Sovereign is increased by melee attacks, critical hits, and influence the damage with melee weapons. Okay, so we need the critical hit to improve some of these stats. Sick, invisible, or paralyzed conditions will appear there. Okay. It occurred to me when I was off screen and looking around to see if I could understand what these stats were, that help could actually just explain it all to us. So there is what they actually do. Now you and I both know the same thing. I apologize if I didn't properly and I know I didn't describe that stuff at first. I see bandages over there. I don't know if bandages are worth getting ourselves injured to get them. I hear it. The giant. And I don't want it to pin us in a place. I want to lead it over here and then run to the opposite corner if I can. There's no reason to do this, everyone. You shouldn't do it, but I want to do this. I want to look around for things. Like this piece of raw meat. Which we don't really need, but we might need it after we begin walking on a few more of these bushes. There's something here. 4 damage to Trani. That sucks. A piece of Diospyros bark. Always possible to squeeze magic from this dried up bark. This attunes you to magma. So we could give this to, whatchamacallit? Kalka, if we so wish. We also did give her a warble, but we don't have another one-handed weapon at the moment to give her. If we can find one out here, I will give her that. But until then, I'm going to keep her using her halberd. There's something over there. I hear the monster walking around, though. I don't know. I'm going to take it. Ugh. A sand vest. Mana +3, prot +1. Hey! Spread that piece of garbage she was currently wearing, so she'll wear this. A blood stain of Forger Quanta ant found. Stain of a yucky, vile liquid, yet a balm for fatigue and magic. Induces spray vomit. Ugh. You recover from 10 mana and you gain 20 stamina. More magma as well. Oh, I hate stepping on this stuff. We can have a little bit of water so we're not waiting around as much. It's a really small enclosed area to fight in here, apparently. Those are the bandages. I'm not sure if that I want them. Hello. Ooh, good damage. 8, but I walked right onto that, and there was no reason for me to do that at all. Can I walk here? I can't. That's a dead end. I hear the monsters somewhere. Okay, it's walking away. It's looking for us at the moment. It can look for us over there all it likes. Let's try to avoid it. I don't know. I don't think a single bandage is worth taking all that damage. This is a dead end again. Oh, nice. Good hit, Kalka. Centrani pants at the exertion, moving his eyes anxiously left and right, preparing himself for yet another ambush. But none comes. He looks at the gory animal that remains on the sand. That was literally too close and... entirely too colorful. Luckily, I have not yet had breakfast. Dinner, though... Miles from there, a chirping morning bird joyfully greets the new day by spiraling upward into the air. Soon it is burnt to a crisp by the scorching sun rays and scattered in ashes on the orange plains. At the same time, elsewhere, a slow sand turtle, unaware that a night came and passed, scuttles at a slow, steady pace towards a single gigantic tree covered in glass. While somewhere else still, mayhem is scripted and carried out by unseen hands. Okay. At the very same instant that all these momentous events occur, the clerk adds more color to the floor at his feet with yesterday's dinner. There's something beneath my artwork. I'm assuming that the smell, the stench of fighting one of these things, the guts and pus that get ejected from it when it's stabbed and pierced, is just utterly disgusting. When you afterwards you have a chance to appreciate it, as it were. Plus, he's probably dizzy from the early morning exertion. That's not going to help him any. So basically, he vomited all over the place. Cintrani tentatively weighs off his brand new puke from something half buried in the sand. Then, with trembling hands, he grabs it, as the desert returns the favor by regurgitating it. It's a bronze sword! A magnificent sword of vomit +1. The clerk staggers at his magnificent discovery. Then, a bit shaky, he resumes his travel. We got a bronze sword, everyone. 3 through 6 damage and +1 agility. So we'll give this to you. And I guess we can... Well, I can't quite... Or can I? We can make Calca into a bit of a mage. Now, you can... I guess I didn't describe it before. You can see what's available to you by hovering over the different channeler, or whatever this is actually called. In this case, this one has Firebolt and Stonefall. Stonefall does 10 damage, and does its damage over 2.2 seconds. The Still Scum has Glass Shards and Glass Splinters. We've seen this before. Glass Shards does 12 damage, and we know that it does that by 2 6-damage attacks. I guess, Calca, we can give you a little more equipment, too. You will go back down to 0 prot if I give you this ring. So we're not going to give that to you. At least not yet. Alright. Well, we know it once again that caravan went west. So let's go west. I guess I should save the game first, though. Sheltered by the low slopes nearby, a pit, or rather a dangerous sinkhole, survives the continuous attack of the sand. A number of weathered stakes grow around it, like fangs, and ruined ropes are tied to them. Creepy. Cintrani looks at the dark mouth, wondering when he's startled by a voice booming out of it. I'm kind of thirsty, you know? What the hell? I said I'm kind of thirsty! The voice really seems to be coming out of the gaping hole, distorted from its depth. Who? What are you? There's a pause. When the voice speaks again, it sounds surprised. Me? Oh, right. A name. I don't use one myself. I guess, okay. You can call me Courtney. And who are you, sweetie? Well, I'm Cintrani, an undrinkable, inedible clerk of Pentella. How's life? Well, apart from a bad toothache, the lack of a dentist, the whole dying of thirst thing, and the damn tourists throwing money in my mouth, life is good. Say, how much water do you carry again? A tourist? What's a tourist? Filthy bugs with big eyes and clicky noises. Listen, have you seen a caravan passing this way in the last 2 weeks? Maybe. Will you give me your water if I have? I can give you this water faucet, so you'll have water at all times. Okay, climb down, bring your faucet. I promise not to bite you. I don't trust the sand not to close both our mouths forever. No thanks. Sons, what a baby. Okay, I'll get up there myself. Wait, what? Aren't you already here? What? You're not telling me you believed in magical mouths in the desert? No, silly, I'm the one inside the mouth. Cintrani shuts up, feeling miserable. One of the ropes tied to the largest stake suddenly becomes tense. Wait. The rope throbs like something heavy is climbing on it. From the pit, Courtney hums a cheerful melody under a labored breath. Wait. The rope throbs in shorter twitches. Whatever is climbing it has almost reached the dark edge. In a few tugs, it will come out of the pit. Wait. To the clerk's surprise, he is apparently not supposed to die horribly from the fangs of some oozing demon coming from the depths. At least, not in the next few seconds. Well, maybe. Ah, the odd woman yawn. Oh. The woman yawns at the sun's already low on the horizon. What unforgiving ascent. I hope your bargain water faucet is worth it, you second-rate door-to-door person. Assure her it is. It absolutely is, informs the clerk. With this almost unused, kinda used second-hand faucet, you can have almost drinkable water flooding your pit in no time. Assuming that's what you want, and who wouldn't? Courtney raises a brow. Alright, no need for the hard sell. A faucet is a faucet is a faucet. I'll take it from your hands. Thanks. Yay! As for the caravan you're looking for, it has gone that way. She points in a vague direction spanning half the desert. But they were followed by a raiding party. Not big, but you don't need big when you have warlocks, right? No! It was all going so well just now. That said, she turns back to the pit, and she stops on its edge. Say, it's a long way down. I don't feel like straining my back muscles twice in a day. Who cares? I have to face raiders. Warlocks even. How dare you? She replies. I can make my back's pain your problems anytime I want. After all, that's my property you're on. The largest piece of real estate in the whole world and all mine. My issues are larger than yours. Wait, I don't even know what you're talking about, and... The confused clerk attempts to answer. My raider's problems is larger than any property tax you may still be subject to. I'm not following, and I wrote this. Centrani actually is not sure what he's talking about, but is not ready to let the woman win. The woman laughs. Taxes? You damn city clerks are all alike. One date and you talk of taxes already. Okay, listen. Date? You are crazy. Chill, she goes on. I would not touch you with the sand treader's dried leg. I would not even throw a dried leg at you, for sun's sake. You're ugly and covered with boils. It's just some acne, I assure you. As soon as she says that, Citrani does notice that he is indeed covered with boils. And that the last few minutes might have seen different facts and heard different words than he thinks, courtesy of a bad sunstroke. Exactly like me, by the sunstroke. Astounding. Suddenly, weak knees no longer carry his weight, and he crumbles like a broken doll on the ground. The woman is quickly upon him, as the world turns black. When Centrani wakes up again, the sky is dark. Is it night already? Or am I in the pit? Oh no, I'm blind! The suns have burned my eyes out! Or I'm blind and lost in underground hell. Or maybe, Centrani, you are already dead, and that's the afterlife for clerks? Will you calm down? A female voice asks. You're simply sleeping the sunstroke off under a cowl. I get it now. You are the greenest leaf on a Konami tree, right? What do you know about Konami? Centrani is suddenly attentive, and the woman continues. That's only good as a tourist attraction. And its brown leaves? Good for nothing, the bunch of them. You look more helpless than most, though. Like a big-eyed, newborn, tiny lizard about to be eaten by a rat. Okay, too much information. Thanks for the save, I guess. Well, you see, it's love already. That's settled. I'm coming with you. The clerk tries to argue against that for a while, unsuccessfully, while Courtney playfully rotates a vicious, handcrafted flail made from a water faucet. Centrani finally agrees to have Courtney in his party. Hey everyone, now we have Courtney in our party. Looks like she too is sporting a pair of sand slippers. She too doesn't start with much. So, I know how to say this. There's no way around it. I've gotten pretty far with these two. This group was what I was currently using when I'm actually now working towards the end of the game inside the city. I haven't played that other save slot for some time, but I really like these two, and I know for a fact that Courtney likes ranged combat. Her accuracy is her highest stat. So we're going to be giving her this stuff. Now it is a little odd because she does start with this water faucet flail. Note that this has a requirement of agility 25 in order to use it. It also is a left-hand item, so she's not casting spells effectively if we want her to keep it. Courtney, oh wait, I can access the character's stats from this screen? I'm such a noob. Courtney does have agility 25, and so do we, as long as we have our current gear on us. I think what we're going to do, however, since we do have that stat, we're going to give ourselves the water faucet flail at the moment, and give Courtney the bladed staff. We'll switch her, though, to the sling if things become a little more tricky for us, which you'll see that will happen rather quickly. I guess we'll give you some fruit. Inventory management, everyone. If you watched any of my videos, you know I spend a great deal of time doing inventory management. Okay, so items and ammo, amplifiers, magic recovery items, healing items. Okay, well, those are two characters I mentioned I wanted. We are not able to enter the pit. I get the impression that we could do that if... Oh, I guess let's talk about this really quick as well. Maybe we could have entered the pit if we chose different dialogue options, but I've not yet done a dialogue option here that gets us into the pit. There are many other ways to do that dialogue, and if you want Courtney in your group, the way I just did is, as far as I'm aware, the only way to get her. You must answer those questions in the order that you saw me answer them in, and ask the questions you saw me ask. If you don't, you get different outcomes. Some of them are just, you lose your faucet, she gives you some information, and that's it. Others, you can maybe make a trade, and she'll give you a few items for your faucet. If you go down into the pit, there's a different outcome that happens there as well, and so on and so forth. I really like this. I'm going to definitely want to play this game again with just Centrani and make a bunch of effectively quote-unquote errors with the dialogue and see how the game plays out that way. I like all the different dialogue choices, and I want to try to play this game and I have tried to play this game like a roguelike where my decisions are set in stone. But man, is it a difficult game when it's just you in the party and you have no one else. Alright, well, with our party assembled, I think it's finally time to explore some dungeons. And so I'm thinking that we're going to explore at least one of the places that we passed by before. We'll double back to this hillish area without a name. And I see a question mark up here. So let's head up there and see what it consists of. A large, flat area, relatively undisturbed by the winds. The strangest thing is that the feet don't sink into the sand. The ground is hard here. The area is free of sounds. Citrani's hair stands on end at his neck. Finger-like structures, made of what look like metal scraps, emerge from the dense terrain. Dead, decrepit fingers. Cue in a creepy tune. Here and there are unseen masses of oxidized materials in darker patches, as if large pools of oil were poured and then washed away in centuries of exposure. Only ghostly stains remain where the chemicals have been absorbed the most. Maybe also the distant rumble of an ominous thunder? Few mounds of dirt and metal are scattered in the area, the terrain around them mostly clean, like it was swept recently. Far on the other side of the clearing, some kind of ruined, low structure still stands, a stubborn and mute witness to the passing of time. Look at the distant structure. Citrani walks cautiously towards the low structure at the other end of the clearing, with the uneasy feeling of being observed. Who or what may be watching him, he cannot say. He's almost in the middle of the area when a couple of giant, strange, ant-like creatures, the size of small carriages, emerge in perfect silence from the nearest spires. Normal-sized carriages, looks to me. Moving quickly between him and the still far building, one of them grabs a pile of metal scraps weighing several tons, just as effortlessly as an ant carrying a crumb, and crashes it thunderously into a neck of the path, blocking the access to his destination. To face him one at a time? Possible, the clerk thinks. More than that? Suicidal. Centrani decides to retreat slowly to avoid being cornered. Fight for life. Everyone, once again, I do not use I don't use the right mouse button on these things. You're gonna see me or not see me at all. I'm going to be using hotkeys for these battles as opposed to actually right-clicking. I find it far easier. Whew! Okay, initial attack defeated. Almost. We have at least one more ant here. Whew. Man, Calca, your halberd does good damage. Alright, everyone. Oh, woof. So, we were walking into this area to look at that structure in the distance, when suddenly we were ambushed by the ants. Which explains why we are in the center of this area to start. And there is something very strange sitting here, and we can rotate this. I guess we'll leave it facing this direction, Tim says, as if acting as if he doesn't know what this is. I guess since I am spoiling stuff, this is some sort of electrical turret. It fires pulses of electrical energy at anything which isn't a human or a humanoid in front of it. So the ants will be fired upon if they walk in front of it. Now, it sees through us, by the way, to attack ants on the other side of us, which means that if we're here, if we're here, and the ant is like by that tree, this begins shooting, and we take the damage. So keep that in mind if you are in this area to try to use these turrets. There is, as you can see, a great deal of rust flowers. That's a great name for them. In this area. And I will be cutting the recording at some parts as we wait for our hit points to recover, because we're going to want to walk on quite a few of these. A stone. We'll begin taking all the stones we see. And fabric, a tattered tunic. What are you wearing? A tattered tunic. Okay, so not very useful. I guess we'll just keep holding on to all these rocks in case we need it for some reason. Let's leave that there. Another rock. Never have too many rocks. Just be chucking rocks everywhere if we so wish. Okay, so with the initial threat removed, I guess we'll look really quick. Because I didn't cover this. As you can see, Courtney does indeed prefer ranged combat to melee combat. It's actually rather difficult to get her melee combat up, even though she starts with that flail. I think we will use her and some stones. And Calca, for the time being, since your mana is so high and we only have one mana reducing item, you will start using this for a bit. I hear an ant, which means an ant likely sees me. You hear their little crackling sound. There's a tree, if you can call it that. Withered, twisted, and torn. Like an agony. There you are, ant. You can rebind hotkeys, by the way. I have rebound this hotkey to Z and the other one to C. Silica crystals. A basic reagent to play with water mostly. Take that. You can have a mushroom to get your magically covered. Oh, I should explain this as well. The party formation. So there is a like Eye of the Beholder, Legend of Grimrock. Attacks 10. It's similar but a little different. When you are attacked, the creature is likely to hit, when it attacks, the person in the front rank before the people in the middle or back rank. But I could swear I've seen creatures indeed attack people who are not in the front, even if they attack from the front. And of course, your back line is more likely to be attacked if you are being attacked from behind. Oh, we should look at what all this stuff is, shouldn't we? A very large egg. Cables and other... Oops. Second, everyone. Cables and other wiry things stuck into it. A sticky, coarse web of oily muck covers it all. There's quite a few of these. All laid out in a row, as if something had walked by and laid them there. That's not very promising for us. Here, another ant. That flail is wonderful, Courtney. I approve of its creation. A tall spire of desperate scrap, covered in a web of opalescent goo. Giant egg things melted into it, pulsating slowly. Well, not a healthy way to spend a day. At least it has some rewards. Amidst the rusty bolts and gory junk that were just recently a particularly nasty thing, vaguely resembling a hut-sized ant, Citrani finds an iron scythe, probably previously owned by some unlucky nomad. A scythe-carrying ant. Really? How the so-called ant could even move with the scythe between its legs is anyone's guess. Speaking of moving, there are more ants approaching, so it's better to run. Then run! What are you waiting for, a punchline? And in our party inventory, I think, we find a scythe. Scythe. 2 through 1 damage times 4. So it does 5 through 12 damage when swung. Affects your agility by reducing it by 3, but hits 4 targets. The bladed staff hits 2. It has, basically, it does more damage, hits more targets, but has a longer cooldown, and costs more stamina to wield it. Speaking of stamina, let's give the gold ring to Courtney, since she's going to be using stamina a lot. And I guess we could give her the scythe to use when we are not using the sling. We want those. I want to step onto those to get this. A pair of desert boots. +2 agility, +6 stamina, +2 prot. Lightweight and flexible. Way better than walking barefoot. We're talking catwalk style here. Plus lateral teeth for additional grip. Feather of a groa bird. Groa birds can't fly, but their feathers are permeated of their dream of soaring. Also harmful to consume. -50 mana, and it also reduces your hit points by 4. Attunes you to air. We could use it to be able to cast Chain Lightning. You know, it's probably not a bad idea, but it also is -50 mana, so I'd rather hold on to it and try to get a different type of recovery item for air elemental magic. I hear another ant. I see another ant. I see 2 ants. Ugh. So, these boots have 2 prot, which means that when damage is rolled when stepping on rust flowers, the damage done will be reduced by that number. So now Citrani is less likely compared to these two to take damage when walking on such. It can still roll high, like a 4 for damage, but we're likely to take less. Okay, sometimes on the minimap as well, like this spot, we can't walk into it, but the minimap shows we can. So what I tend to do in those instances is this. This is important to me because you're going to see me constantly bringing up the map to look around to see where I haven't been able to reach. Like, I can tell I haven't been up here because there's no wall or gate or fence blocking that area. And we're going to want to explore all of this. There is some other things to find. One thing in particular will be extremely, I don't know if useful is the proper word, but informative. A shaky, troubling metal cage. A breeze flows out of it. No way to apparently enter it, though. Not a bone to pick. I dread to imagine what thing must have lost it. I don't recognize the type of bone this is. This looks like an arm bone to me? Or a leg bone? I thought our arm bones were split. Hey, some bandages. Goodbye, ant. Flowers that we thankfully don't need to step on. Ooh, but I step on them anyway as I'm looking at the map. Bad form, Tim. Bad form. There's no reason to step on them. Avoid them. Don't walk on top of them. Now, by the way, I really like the look of this, the color palette that's been used in the game, the whole time will feel rather brown and dusty. And I feel that's really appropriate for the type of worlds and the setting that we're adventuring in. Very drab. And it will make colors that much more noticeable when we actually do notice such. Lots of scrap out here and not a lot of anything else. Alright, Kalka, it's been a bit. Let's go ahead and give you back the option to cast some spells for a bit. You can, I think, walk into these pools, and I'm pretty sure it's, like, awful. I've never actually stepped in one, and I'm not gonna start today. It seems like that would be extremely unhealthy. Oh, Tim, that's quite a few of them. Ooh. Uh-oh! We're stuck! So right there, for example, we were just attacked by the ant, and it didn't hit my front two, but it did hit Courtney. I'm not quite sure how the game decides who gets hit. It must be a percentage roll, with most of the percentage chance, the chance being higher for the person in the front of the group. We'll go back to casting spells for a tiny bit. I like to try to avoid rust flowers where I can. Hello, ant. Oh! Crap, I forgot. Kalka does not have 25 agility. She cannot actually use the flail at all. Back to this for a tiny bit. We'll get a little more practice to Courtney with her sling once we're out of these sling stones, though. We have one left. I'm just gonna shoot it, get it out of our inventory. Alright, let's have her. I guess now start wielding her flail? No, we'll have her use the scythe. Okay, sorry everyone, not doing much talking at the moment. I see something over there. Let's see if we can get that. Ooh. I'm looking at my mini-map, and I'm not paying attention to what's on screen. Oh, so much damage. It's a cloak. Looks like a rather beaten, battered cloak. +1 agility cloak. Ooh, didn't kill it. That's salvo of attacks. Wait around too long, but it looks like we might have to. Yeah, okay. We have to cross some rust flowers. I hear another ant. I'd rather not fight it in the rust flowers. Tough ants! What the heck? It dropped something. We'll take a look at it soon. Nutrients tube. Nutritious paste of unknown origin in a practical tube. When in doubt, try to eat it. 8 hit points recovered. I like how the descriptions of these items are rather humorous. And on that note, like, I don't know, it doesn't sound very appetizing to shove this paste of whatever this is into your mouth, but I see it heals us, so we're doing it. Another metal cage. Okay. We're gonna have to step on more rust flowers. I don't really want to. We're doing it. What type of place was this, do you think? I'm guessing maybe a power generator of some sort. Based on all the cables we see. The spacing of these gates as well. Rather large. Hello! And a med kit. A neatly packaged medical kit. Colorful, and even a bit effective. There's a niche there, and I'm pretty sure there's something in that niche. There is. Oh, we should keep the shiny tip. What does this say? Let's take a look. Just a scavenger hunt, he said. That's our life, he said. The boss is going crazy, I swear. He even volunteered 2 men to blood on the stone of those fanatics in the south. And I could swear he was smiling all the time. I saw the madmen dragging the bodies on the west of their camp, behind a 3-parted seal. Based on the image that I see, I'm guessing that this is a note from the caravan. We're going to hold on to that note. Now, I did see what looked like some sort of outfit here. So I'm going to wait here for a bit until our life is restored on Kalka. And then we'll go and get whatever that was, like in the flowers somewhere ahead of us. So I'm going to cut the recording. I'll be right back. Alright, everyone. It's been a few minutes. Let's go ahead and walk over to whatever that was on the ground that we saw. A condenser. Tiny item of unknown origin. Brimful of sky energy. It costs fatigue to draw it, though. More air mana. We lose 5 stamina, but attune ourselves at minus 40 mana. Now, I know that this area has a good amount of air elemental recovery items. So I'm going to use this and reattune Kalka to air magic. A badly burnt suit. +2 prot, -4 stamina. A sort of vest made with heavy synthetic fabric that must have been tough and insulating when new. Pity, it's badly ruined now. I don't think 2 prot -4 stamina is better for Kalka with her +1 prot +3 mana outfit. I like my current outfit too. But it might be better for Courtney, so we'll give it to her. With the stamina ring here, she can probably afford the little bit of stamina lost there. I don't see anything interesting on the other side of this metal cage. Okay, and I think it's just a gate that's down here. I'm going to go ahead and do something like this to mark that gate off. I don't really feel like going down there. I don't feel like having that explored on the map and walking all those rust flowers, only to just wait around another 10 minutes to recover hit points. Let's try getting back to where we came from. Oh, so much damage. Okay. And we're still not out of it. Okay, so it feels like we've been playing for like an hour as well, so I think we'll stop here, and we'll explore more of this infested plain when we get back. Before we go, just one more thing to note. You can also change the order which your people are in your party by right-clicking on a face and then dragging it to where you wish. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.